Well, let me say how grateful I am to the guy that first noticed some wiring problems in this location. We're in the back passenger side. This right here, this was hidden by the ground. I've pulled the ground off so I can get to it, but that there rubbed so much that it hasn't rubbed into a conductor yet, but it's awful close. And then I noticed up above, so hard to do one-handed, but up there too you can start to see where that's rubbing through. So I need to do some work here. But let me show you a trick that old-time electricians use. But to get tape in a real crowded place like in there, take some tape and roll some tape up backwards on itself. Just keep rolling and rolling. Two-handed is a lot easier than one-handed, but roll up a good wad of tape backwards, and then the sticky side is out, and you can just roll it right onto the area that you need. So now you can get that tape started and just roll it on in the direction you wanted to go to begin with, and the sticky side is down again. So that's an old-time electrician's trick right there. So we'll protect that a little bit. We'll go 3 or 4 layers thick over the top of that marked up spot. So here's the other spot that's rubbed raw. I've got it exposed a little better. You can see that up there. I don't have the time or the energy right now to fix it right. I thought I had some of that split tubing that I could push over the top of this and tape it down, but I don't have the right size. And the other thing I wanted to mention, there's a special star washer that goes between the block and that engine connector right there. Can you see the little dimple marks that it makes? That washer's got little spikes in it, so it cuts into both the wire and the engine block to make a good contact. I'll wire brush that down or scrape it down or something to help that too. But that little washer is really easy to lose when you pull that bolt out if you're not aware it's there. So anyway, and this is another reason why, a couple of guys have made the comment about replacing the valve cover gaskets, that they dreaded pulling the bed off. There's instructions in your manual on how to do that. And honest to gosh, it might be a little intimidating at first, but there's not a whole lot of bolts. And if you haven't done any modifications to your machine to keep you from getting it off, it comes off real easy, and that would make it a ton easier to take care of all this and inspect everything a lot more closely. So anyway, now I got to tape that upper one up. And I found another place that's rubbed raw. If you look at the back right there, and then it rubs on this smaller wire, so I got to get that protected up. And I'm going to wire tie the heck out of these, or zip tie. The only way these things can rub each other to the point of doing what they're doing is if they're moving and rubbing across each other. If they were all zip tied down tight so they couldn't move, then they wouldn't chafe. Okay, it's all put back together except, of course, for the wheel going back on. This will give me a chance to look down at the brake pads, and I see pad in there. It always surprises me. They look really thin, but when I get the replacements that I bought about 5,000 miles ago, they're only a couple millimeters thicker than what's there. So brakes are good, but yeah, this is real disappointing the way they've wired everything here. I wish I could remember all the tricks that my aircraft mechanic friend had for using these zip ties. There are ways to use them to keep the wires isolated and separated from each other so they don't rub. And I think I can figure that out, but just don't have the time right now. In any case, this is again a really good case for taking the bed off every year, having a good examination. Again, there was problems right there where they all came together, problems up here where they all came together, a problem up there where things were. So, and I notice a little bit of moisture under the valve cover, and it's not because the valve cover's loose. I just checked it; it's torqued down. But and I also noticed I've got must be just a little bit of weeping out of the axle there. But yeah, just imagine if you were to pull the bed off, how much easier it would be to get to all this stuff, and a chance to pressure wash everything off and take care of things the right way. So anyway, just thought, this isn't going to be up to my usual standards for a maintenance video, but it was important enough, and it shocked me enough to see that, that I thought I better film it. And again, I want to thank, I can't remember who it was, I should go back and look, but I want to thank the guy that brought this up here just a couple of weeks ago or so. I think he had problems in the same place. I sure hope Can-Am's figured out. Of course, they probably don't care. It's well past warranty. I've got 10,000 miles on it, and it's an 18 version. But I sure hope they've got their guys trained up a little better in looming these things. I really do want to pull it apart when I get my energy back and loom it correctly. So anyway, old buzzard out. See ya.